Manira.
Good morning, everybody.
Hi, everyone.
Morning, everyone.
Right. Well, we've got 6 people joining in and thus far. I'm going to assume more will come in the next couple of minutes. So we'll just give them a few minutes to drop in. I'm actually in a, well, surprisingly, very warm and sunny Leeds this morning. How are things looking for you guys? Hi, Yulia.
If you want to, let us know in that kind of comment box that some of you are using already whereabouts you are. That'd be really fun for us to see where everyone's come from this morning as people start to join.
Morning, Tessine. Thank you for joining in this morning.
We can kick it off. I'm in Glasgow this morning, based in Scotland. Has anyone else joined so far from up north? Really north? Morning.
Oh, I can see the numbers going up. We've got 9. Morning. Oh, Edinburgh.
Yay. And Aberdeen. Wow.
Come on, Leeds. I need some more people coming in from Yorkshire.
I need some people coming in from London.
Fantastic.
Brilliant. I think we'll just give them another 2 more minutes. Another one from Edinburgh, just to make sure that everybody was able to log in easily.
Sure.
So with Edinburgh, how's it up towards you, Sophie?
So in Glasgow today, it's pretty warm and muggy. The weather is usually much nicer in Edinburgh. So lucky people who've tuned in from Edinburgh. Glasgow is usually wet. But it is warm. It is warm. We can't ask for too much.
Hey, but how's it where you are?
It's nicer here. I was down south up until yesterday and it was hot. Very, very hot. And not to sound ungrateful, but I actually missed the cool of Leeds. I can do with a little bit of sun with a bit of breeze.
Yeah.
But we're looking forward to a whole week of just pure heat coming our way.
London's really hot at this point. I think where I am, it's so sunny. Like yesterday was really hot, and I was thinking, oh, we got summer again, but I know it's going to disappoint us somewhere. It's going to start raining.
Yeah, I know.
It's good for the plants and trees. Again, you need all of that to make it really feel like summer, all the colors. It's been nice for just long walks.
Absolutely.
Does anybody have any nice summer plans coming up?
I'm going on holiday, so that's interesting to know. Going to Portugal, first time. Exciting.
Sounds great.
While people are just trickling in, Hiba, do you want to give us a little bit of an overline of what kind of today is going to be about, just for the people that have come in already?
Sure.
What we're moving on.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Sophie. So we're just going to give it a couple more seconds, and then I'd like to introduce ourselves, who we are. I appreciate you can see our names on the screen as well, and we'll talk to you about AWS. Do put in the chat whether you know what AWS is, just the term by itself. But don't worry if you don't. It is part of this morning's schedule. We will talk you through step by step, and hopefully by the end of today, you'll know you'll know it better. Also, as we go along the presentation, do feel free to just drop in your questions in the chat box. We will either answer them as we go along, or at the end of it, take the questions and respond to you live as well. Right then, without further ado, we've got 16 people in. Lovely to see that you could all make it, and we will begin.
No's and like rejections and you're not good enough. Our generation were the first people to give me yes in like a really long time, and I feel like I really needed that. So generation kind of helped me to kind of get back on track, and they made me excited about the future again.
Since the program, I've just become a lot more confident, and I look forward to like what the future holds now. So yeah, excited.
I learned a lot of things on this program. We covered things spanning from like Linux and Python programming. We did databases and MySQL. We did networking. We did computer security, and we did a whole bunch of AWS services.
Generation means family to me. It means friends. Like it means a companion. Like they actually care about you, and they care about your future. So it's not just like a training course. It's like they have like a personal touch. Like they really care about you, and they check up on you, and they just really want you to do well in life. And that's what I love about them. So yeah.
I know it's a short video, but it always gets to me every single time. It's so easy to underestimate one tiny decision, a small step, or a bootcamp application can do to turn a life around. So yeah, just really touched to see that again. Right, without further ado, good morning, everyone, once again, and thank you for joining us this morning. I will start up our presentation. So you're joining us today for our AWS Restart presentation from Generation UK. And this is the team. So my name is Hiba Rashid. I represent Generation Outreach for Yorkshire. On the call today, my co-facilitators are Sophie from Scotland, Munira representing London. Sorry.
I was just saying good morning.
Sorry, Munira, do you want to say hello?
Good morning, everyone.
And we also have 3 more of our team members, which are James, Nathan, and Josh, that represent West Mids, Ireland, and Manchester. So lovely, lovely, lovely to meet, have all of you on the call today. A brief introduction to ourselves. Sorry. Generation is an employment charity founded in 2014 by McKinsey & Company to help bridge the gap between employment and the 75 million young people worldwide that are unemployed. The UK and Ireland team work to transform the UK's dated education to employment systems, empowering individuals to build thriving tech careers. To do this, we offer 8 different programs across our regions, and the program delivery varies in direct relation to our geographical area. We not only ensure that we deliver what is most relevant and beneficial to our learners, and we don't just teach for the sake of teaching. Rather, behind every single bootcamp, every effort that we do is months and months of research and planning to deliver best outcomes. Now, as represented and reflected by the placement of the Generations Outreach team, we operate and serve in the UK and Ireland in 6 geographical areas. These 6 regions are not by chance. In fact, we've researched, again, areas where unemployment is high, which means that we have the space to make the highest impact. For us, we actively want to break down the mental idea that big, progressive jobs in tall glass buildings are for the minority. Rather, that every learner at Generation can see themselves raising the ceiling regularly. And so we're staying in these 6 regions to help them do that. Namely, again, we're based in Scotland, Ireland, London, Yorkshire, West Mids, and Manchester. And hopefully that's where everybody is dialing in from today. Now, who do we serve? We have enrolled so Generation UK and Ireland has existed for just about 5 years. We've recently completed our 5-year anniversary, and we're super excited to continue this journey across the countries. We've enrolled over just slightly below 3,000 diverse learners onto our boot camps, and our learners have faced, on average, multiple barriers, around maybe 4 different to employment. So what that really means is that we exist to support absolutely anybody who is unemployed and facing barriers to employment. Now, an example of this is on the screen in front of you. So all those stats are representative of learners that have come onto our boot camps. However, as I said before, our learners represent a combination of these factors. So while the stats, for example, may say there are 4% of lone parents that come onto boot camps, what it would also be paired with will be another stat. So for example, a learner on a Generation boot camp could be someone who is under 25, a lone young mother who was unable to complete her education due to parenthood, and yet has a lifetime ahead of her to build a life in a manner that brings happiness both to herself and to her child. And that's where we come in to help achieve those dreams and goals and serve that purpose. Now, for us to do that, and for us to be as dedicated as we are to this goal, we needed to identify where the current problem was. The reason we exist to serve females like yourselves is because the current UK tech market doesn't speak to us the way that we want to. It doesn't resonate with where we collectively want to be as a society, and there are a number of problems that just aren't okay. So, for example, the market gap. Women still make up only about 26% of the tech workforce in the UK. And while this is an improvement from where we were in 2019 at 19%, it still highlights a significant gender gap. And this isn't to say that there aren't enough jobs, but rather we don't have enough women that are trained to confidently step into the industry to take up these roles. And a part of that is career misconceptions. A significant barrier to entry for women is the misconception that tech careers are just not for them. And this has come from a lack of education and role models in their formative years. For people to turn around and say that there is space, and very much so, in fact, that women are needed in these spaces to transform them and build them into spaces where we can all grow and thrive. And unfortunately, in the UK, women are more likely to be unemployed and underemployed compared to men. And it's more pronounced with young women and those from ethnic minorities. So we recognize these barriers and we recognize these problems, but what do we do to make sure that what we propose is different? When Generation comes in, we speak about closing the gap. We increase the number of women in tech significantly because what we want them to do is be able to contribute to the UK economy. And we have the potential to do so by a huge £2.6 billion revenue annually. We do this by using role models and mentorship. And we don't just say these words, we live them day in and day out at Generation. Our staff members, our learning instructors, they all represent who we are and what we embody. The lovely lady on the screen is part of our partnerships team and a key integral part of the senior team at Generation. She takes up space in the Leeds tech industry and is a keen advocate for women and learners in tech. And we do that every single day. We live and breathe that dream and that vision. And most importantly, for everybody here today, we offer a free 12-week bootcamp to do so. We want to propose a short investment in yourself to make a lifelong impact. Now, how we do this is through our AWS Restart program, which is based on research. It's not just something, again, that we say, but rather we base our courses and curriculum design on current market research, which includes hiring trends and employer feedback. We're unique in the way that we work, where we are the only charity in the UK that works with bootcamps in this manner. But being a charity, our focus are our learners and to make sure that we support them in the best way we possibly can. We keep ourselves industry relevant by adding new programs, assessing, renewing, and make sure that the programs that we run are not only relevant, but also up to date, all the way up to the point of delivery and throughout the course. Our tutors are industry experts that have worked in the field and have full understanding of what makes the tech industry tick. Now, a few key stats about our impact are in front of you. Just in these 5 years, in fact, slightly less of them, because learners on our boot camps this year wouldn't even make up that statistic. So across 6 regions alone, we've almost changed 1,300 lives into full-time employment. And these are people that felt that without the support from generation, they couldn't have made that change. And we're looking at 1,300, not just individuals, but families and communities, creating that social impact of change, of turning up for themselves and knowing that this place, this world can be a different space. The average salary for somebody graduating from an AWS Tech bootcamp or a generation specific AWS bootcamp is 25,000 annually. It doesn't say that it couldn't be more, but that is your average that you can look at when going into the tech industry. We've partnered to make this happen. We've partnered with over 115 employers across the UK and Ireland that support this vision, that have worked with us over the 5 years and who champion what we do and our graduates. And in fact, just with what I said earlier, the industry may not be as representative as we want it to be, but Generation UK and Ireland have already supported 858 female learners onto boot camps that are tech specific to start changing that map. And more importantly, how do we plan on doing that with yourselves? So speaking about our AWS program, what is AWS? I'm not sure if some of you did put it in, whether you are aware of AWS or not, but just as a quick overview, AWS stands for Amazon Web Services. Thank you, Toro. Absolutely spot on. Good morning, Mercy. So yeah, AWS, imagine a giant toolbox full of everything you need to build and run things on the internet. This toolbox is called AWS or Amazon Web Services, just as Toro mentioned earlier. And it's created by Amazon. And most of you may know it as a company where you do a lot of shopping from. So what can you do with AWS? You can store information, just like the photos and files that you save on your phone and computer. Businesses use AWS to store data safely online. You can run applications. Think of AWS as a powerful, powerful computer that businesses can use to run their websites, applications, softwares without needing to store or buy or keep all the hardware themselves. So it's all done on cloud. And tools and services. AWS offers various tools like virtual assistants for businesses, databases to keep track of information, and even tools that help predict what might happen in the future based on data. Now, why learn AWS? And right in the middle of your screen, you can see a stat which says 8.7 billion pounds. So AWS is estimated to generate around 8 £1.7 billion in economic value annually for businesses across the UK. This surpasses both the Premier League, which even I was surprised about, and the music industry. But that is the impact that we have with AWS usage and the tech space. It highlights the integral role that AWS plays in the digital transformation of various sectors, and this could be from education to healthcare and way, way beyond. Many companies need people who know how to use AWS because it helps them run their businesses more efficiently and, given our current climate, cost effectively. It supports the growth of many of the UK's fastest growing companies. And in 2019 alone, 39 of the 50 fastest growing British companies were using AWS. And 16 out of the UK's 17 unicorns, which are private companies valued over $1 billion, relied on AWS for their cloud computing needs. So it is very much integrated in our economic growth, and it demonstrates AWS's pivotal role in enabling businesses to scale at rapid growth. So learning AWS can lead to jobs such as being a cloud architect, systems administrator, data analyst, all that our generation graduates have gone on to do. And the skills are useful, as I said, in many different industries, from tech companies to healthcare, finance, giving you the flexibility to work in different fields and really tailor your learning to your personality and where you want to make the highest impact. So as said before, AWS is like a big online toolbox that helps businesses store data, run applications, and use digital tools. And learning how to use AWS can open up many exciting and well paying career opportunities that you can start by becoming an AWS expert. And the first step could potentially be a Generation Bootcamp. So how would you do that? In order to apply to be onto a Generation Bootcamp, you need to meet the eligibility requirements that are on the screen in front of you. For the UK and Ireland, you must be 19 years of age, which varies slightly for those of you that are dialing in from Scotland this morning. You must have the right to work in the UK and Ireland, and currently either be unemployed or underemployed, which would also include 0 hours contracts. Now, I'll briefly go over how Generation can help you on this tech journey, and we will answer your questions as well at the end of it. Everyone here on this call today has taken the step to show up for themselves this morning, and that's all that we are looking for. A genuine interest in our AWS program and a drive, to change your life. The generation model works in a manner where we encourage that all of you apply to the AWS program and that you can envisage yourself in that space as a career. You can apply using the link that is going to be shared in the chat box in just a moment. Alternately, you can reach out to your regional outreach staff member via email, and that will be on the next slide as well. And we can send these details to you after the call as well. Once you've applied, if you feel like we are the right fit for you, you will then become a part of our next AWS cohort, which starts on the 6th of August. This means that embarking on your generation journey, which starts from a genuine interest in just getting to know you so that we can tailor the learning process to meet your specific needs. Sorry, that keeps moving forward. I've just moved that. I do apologize. Sorry, can everybody see the generation journey? Yes. You can then learn the technical aspects of AWS, but you're not on your own. So once you make the application using the link in the chat box or reaching out to one of us, you will be invited for an interview, which are conducted using a high review platform. This means that you get lots and lots of time to read your questions, prepare what you want to share with us about yourself, and why do you want to come on to an AWS program. Once you become a learner, you attend daily dedicated classes to learn about cloud technology, and then you take part in detailed sessions for your CV building, for tutoring, interviews, cover letters, and genuine in-depth career support to help build whatever you wish to see and grow in. And also, you benefit from our personalized mentorship program, which is wholly dedicated to help enable you to become the best version of yourself. Now, every bit of our program is important for your for the transformation journey, but for us, it's not just about the learning. The space between the learning and the real world is equally important, and this is why we've ensured that we add some really cool and engaging aspects to our delivery. This includes ongoing training, technical tests, and activities that not only engage but also enhance the adding value to yourself way beyond the teaching stage. So, what we try and instill is a deep love to keep turning up for yourself and continuing to up your game and being the best version of you, which is a great place to be. And if this resonates with you, then please do contact us or use the link that is shared with you to hopefully apply to one of our boot camps or to even get more information and answer your questions. I'd like to now open the floor for any questions that you may have, and I can see that you've been sending some through in the chat box.
Any questions at all?
And as we mentioned, you will be able to access the recording of this information session via the link that you've received in your email. So please do share this with friends who may be interested, and that'll be great. But again, feel free to contact us as well.
Anyone have any questions about kind of the eligibility criteria for the bootcamp? Any worries or concerns there about whether you'd be eligible? And we'd be happy to give you more detail or answer any questions here.
You can also use the chat function if you don't want to go in the door.
So the answer to this question would be depending on whereabout you were in the UK. So I can speak for Scotland. In Scotland, you don't have to have been living in the UK for a certain amount of time. But Hiba, do you maybe want to comment on what the situation is in England? Because I know that it is different.
So this would be more case by case dependent. Usually we do request that it is 3 years. However, it could vary depending on personal circumstances. For that, again, we encourage that if you drop us an email with your specific circumstance, we can give you an answer that is true to your current where you currently are. So the next one is, I'm currently unemployed. What if I apply now and get a job before the start date of August? What could be done, please?
So I think to that we would just say if you're currently unemployed and you're interested in this schools bootcamp and you're looking to go into kind of the tech industry and you think that this would be beneficial for you, we would obviously encourage you to apply. If during that application process another opportunity comes up that you would prefer to take, that's just the way life works. That's absolutely fine. That's more of a personal choice on your part. There would be a consideration as to whether you were kind of actively applying for lots and lots of jobs and maybe not thinking about starting the bootcamp as a priority. That could maybe be a consideration. But in that case, as Hiba said, it's another case by case based situation. There would be no repercussions to you going on to the job after getting in touch to make an application. But you obviously wouldn't be able to do both of those things at once.
Absolutely.
In that situation, do let Generation know and you've applied and you've got something coming up, then you should sort of drop an email, just let them know your situation, that you're not sort of going to be joining.
Sure.
I think the best way to think about it is just as you would apply to any other educational program, which is similar to, well, our first part of our bootcamp is in that sort of space. If you were to apply to any other educational course, the expectation would be that you'd be joining. But if you can't, you just notify, and that allows us to give space to somebody else that could make benefit of that space on the program instead.
I think it's key to say there as well, like we're not scary. We want the best for you, and if going into a job is the best thing for you at that time and you want to grab that opportunity, then that's something we obviously absolutely would support. So don't feel like it's, you know, a scary thing if you're looking for jobs and you also are thinking about this, that you don't want to take a chance on it in case a job comes up. We just obviously want the best for you and your journey, so I wouldn't worry about it.
Absolutely. The next one is on eligibility. Does one have to be unemployed before applying?
So in terms of employment, the vast majority of our applicants would be completely unemployed. You have to be not in education, training or work. However, if you're on a 0 hours contract and you're working less than 16 hours a week, then you would be then considered for the bootcamp. That wouldn't rule you out on eligibility. How that works in reality is, again, we do a lot of things on a case-by-case basis. We have had people on bootcamp before who are maybe working a few hours at the weekend, maybe an hour or two after work. That's fine, but it's something we discuss with you because we want to manage your capacity and your well-being, and we don't want people to be working extra hours all through the week while also doing our full-time intensive bootcamp. You don't have to be completely unemployed on a 0 contract hours, but it's something to bear in mind in terms of how you would manage being on the bootcamp, because it is quite intense.
Yeah. Now, Taurus just asked a brilliant question, and I do apologize. I should have included that earlier. But what is the pace of the bootcamp like, and is it in person or online? So the bootcamps are completely free, which we did touch upon, but they're also virtual. So you don't actually physically have to go anywhere. It's a matter of being able to log onto a computer, and it's Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, in preparation of going into a full-time job, but you don't actually have to make a travel journey to do so. Another key feature that we do at Generation is if you have access to a laptop or computer, that's brilliant. But if you do not, then we can loan that to you for the duration of the bootcamp and the job seeking period of 6 months thereafter, free of cost. So again, there will be no charge to yourselves, and you get to make use of it for your learning and your employment seeking time period.
I'd just like to add to that, Hiba.
Please.
So the messaging platform that we use is Slack. So if you need to sort of contact, your tutor kind of thing, or speak to your other learners, it will be that platform that you would use. Yeah, and it's like a classroom of like 20 on a Zoom call. You would also be put into breakout rooms, etc. And there will be time also for like self-study, and you will have access to resources as well.
Thank you. Now, just picking up on this question, there are people who work varying hours, but not more than 20 hours per week. Do they qualify? So I do believe it's 16 hours and under. Or can I add to say, do students in universities qualify? Unfortunately, you cannot be in education. Again, just as Sophie mentioned earlier, it is a big ask that we ask of you. It is Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, and it would clash directly with any other form of learning. So it would be that you wouldn't be in education, especially not at university, but it's 16 hours and less that we would consider, but again, with having honest and open conversations about managing workload. The next one is, would there be a plan afterwards for those working full hours but still interested in switching careers?
I'm not 100% sure on the meaning of that question, but I can kind of talk through the process of the placement period and what we look for in people and what kind of our approach to that is. So obviously, if you're working full time, you wouldn't be eligible to be on the bootcamp in the first place. But say you were unemployed and you've taken a place in the bootcamp, you complete the bootcamp. This bootcamp is 12 weeks long, and then we work with you for 6 months after that 12 weeks to place you into roles. So We work with an employer partnerships team. We support you with your employability to support you to self-apply for roles that you've found yourself. That's kind of what that placement period looks like, and that's the way that we support you after you've done the bootcamp. So that's what would be the plan per se. So in terms of if you currently are working full-time hours and you're thinking about changing a career, maybe this bootcamp is maybe not the correct option for you. If you wanted to get in touch with kind of the contact in your area that we gave earlier to see if they know of any other training availability within your area that might be better suited for you, please do. But if you're working full time, our boot camps are again full time and quite full on. So this maybe wouldn't be the right option for you at the moment. But please do get in touch if you're not sure about that and you want some more information.
Just looking at the chat box, I can see Yazan has sent in a message saying in regard to an application. So well done for putting that through. If you could just drop us a little message, maybe saying which bootcamp, and we can review that and get back to you. And that's another thing that I would highly encourage when you make your applications. If you want to reach out to your local outreach staff member, we can make sure that we keep that communication line open and support you along the application process. So please do feel free to use those email addresses, get in contact with us, and we'll be equally happy to drop you a reply back or even give you a call and have those conversations in depth with yourselves.
Absolutely. And if you didn't catch those emails as well, we've got that main email, the cloudprogram@generation.org email on the screen, in case you're not sure exactly what catchment area you fall into, or you didn't catch the earlier emails. We'll be able to pick up any questions or concerns about applications and making applications there.
Thank you for joining, everyone, and we look forward to see your applications.
Absolutely. If anyone has any other questions, now would be the time to drop them in. If not, we will follow up this session with an email for you, kind of just outlining any of that information that we've gone over today in terms of eligibility and the contents of the bootcamp, just to make it easy for you to apply if you didn't get a chance to pick up the links and things here. But I think that's kind of everything from us in terms of the information we have for you. Again, as I said, if anyone has any last minute questions, drop them in just now. But we will be back in touch with you via email with any extra information. And if you want to get in touch with us, please do.
And thank you to everybody for attending. It's been a pleasure.
Amazing. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you. Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.